Hi and welcome back. So this is video 2 of a series of 4 videos that I'm doing to help artists move through blocks that may be preventing their success. So in video 1 we talked about mindset issues, fear and self-doubt and how to overcome them, practical ways. And in this video what we're going to talk about is attracting your ideal customers and what not to do, but also what to do in order to have a much clearer message and actually attract your ideal customers to you. So first of all, let's have a look at what trying to attract your ideal customer looks like for most of us. So what we try and do is we show a big selection of our art, all different styles, all different kind of mediums, subjects, etc. Particularly as beginner artists, and we talk in a way on social media and our websites that attracts lots of different people. So effectively we're trying to cast the net very, very wide to see who we can catch in that net. But what happens with that approach is we get very exhausted, we get quite confused because we're kind of sending out lots of different messages in the hope that something will resonate, and people themselves are always changing. So we kind of may hit it one day and we might not hit it another day, and we're kind of thinking, well, hang on a minute, I'm getting likes and I'm getting comments, but I'm actually not getting any customers. And the reason being is if we try to talk to too many different types of people and show them too many different things, then it dilutes a message and that message gets lost, and also it's really confusing for potential customers. So to make that a practical example, if I go along to somebody's Instagram page or Facebook page, whatever it is, and I look and I can see so many different styles of art, some are watercolour, some are pencil drawings, some are acrylics, some are florals, occasionally portraits, and it's great because they've got loads and loads of different interests, but they're not grouped together in collections and in a cohesive manner that tells me they can kind of pursue an idea through to a point of kind of satisfaction where they've really explored it and created a collection and, you know, arrived at 10, 15 different pieces. And we've all done that. I've been really guilty of that because you're just so excited at trying all these different things that you just want to throw it all out there to the world. But as I said, it really kind of dilutes the message, and when somebody looks at the profile, they kind of think, hang on, I don't know what this person's about, what they stand for, what they're interested in. I don't know whether they're a craft business or whether they're a photographer or an artist. And so if you confuse people, particularly in the first kind of 3 seconds, then the chances are you've lost them. Okay, so casting that net wide doesn't work. It tires us out and it confuses our customers. So what to do instead is to get very clear on 2 things. Number 1 is your why, our why as an artist. And number 2 is to get very clear on your customers' why, or their wants and needs, and marry the 2 together. Okay, so let's go to our why first of all. If we are crystal clear about why we make the type of art we make, then we can communicate that, and it will be very clear when somebody looks at our social media and website and they hear the language they use and the images we use. It will be very clear to them what we stand for, okay? And if they stand for something very similar, then an emotional link and connection will form, and that's exactly what we want. Let's say you have a very, very strong political message or a sense of justice and fairness. Then if you use images that are associated with that and your artwork is really strong and powerful and has a strong message in it, that is going to be so clear for somebody who arrives at your social media profile. If they are not political and they don't have the same beliefs, they are going to go away. And that's what most of us are scared about. We're scared about alienating people and thinking, well, if I do that, I'm going to put people off, and I'm already struggling to find customers, so why on earth would I put anybody off? But actually the opposite happens. What you do when you get very clear on your message is you attract people towards you that are like-minded and more likely to resonate with your work anyway. Okay, so all we're doing is kind of clearing out the weeds in terms of, you know, using a gardening analogy, that are not in alignment with you and your artwork. Okay, so that's knowing your why. If you don't stand for anything, it comes across as a little bit vanilla and like I said, confusing. Equally, it might just be something like, I just want to make somebody's life incredibly beautiful. So I just want to make them feel happy. I'm going to do that with the colours I use, with the language I use to describe my artwork. And that's also fine. It doesn't have to be some great big, emotional political stance. It can be, but it can just be something as simple as, I want to brighten people's day, or I want to make their homes more beautiful. Okay, no judgment at all either way. So once you know your why, you can then start to communicate that. So it's about really niching down, not casting the net wide, and it goes against what our kind of mind tells us to do. We want to catch as many fish as possible, so throw that net out into the ocean. But actually, we don't want to do that. We want to use a specific type of food and just attract the fish that are aligned with our dinner. Sorry if you're a vegetarian, actually. Probably a bad analogy to use, but you know what I mean. Second of all is the customer's wants and needs, because we can have a great product and know our why, but if that doesn't resonate with our ideal customer and their wants and needs, it's gonna miss the message. So going back to the example of the kind of political, politically fired art, if your customer also has a real sense of justice and they want to make a statement in their home or when their friends come around for dinner, and they want to be involved and feel like just by buying a piece of art they are vocalizing their stance on an issue, then you have solved a problem for them, because our customers have wants and needs and desires. Okay, there are 10 in total that I think it's Jim Edwards wrote a brilliant book talking about the 10 reasons people buy, and I discussed that in the Passion into Profit program. But they're things like, making their life better, improving their social standing, getting rid of pain, perceived or real pain. But there are 10 reasons that people buy. So if you know what your customers' reasons for buying are, what it is they want and need from you, you can then tie your message to fit that. Now, little disclaimer here, what I'm not saying to create art just for the sake of your customers, because you need to create art that really comes from you deeper inside. But what I'm saying is, if you can marry the art you're making and the customers and their wants and needs, that's when we get to the point where we make an emotional connection with customers, and that usually results in the sale. So finding out what your customers' wants and needs are, so taking some time to do that. Research and question your past customers. Have a look at people on your Facebook and what kind of language they're using. Have a look at some of your competitors as well, and see what kind of comments people, clients are putting on their sites. And as long as they are a similar style to you or a similar kind of market to you, that's going to give you some information as to what your customers want and need as well. So we have our why, the reason we create the art we do and what we're trying to say to the world and what we're trying to put out there. And we have our customers' needs, wants, desires. So their why do they want to purchase? And if the two marry up, then we have a sale. If they don't, and we are talking about something and our customers feel a different way, or it doesn't hit their wants, needs, desires, the message is going to get missed, okay? It's a little bit like somebody talking in Spanish, another person talking in, Italian, even though they probably can understand each other fairly well. And they're having a conversation about something, but it's just not hitting, it's getting missed because obviously they're talking in two different languages. So to summarise this video, it's about not casting the net so wide and trying to attract everybody with your artwork and with your messaging. It's about really niching down, understanding what it is that we're trying to say as an artist, communicating that message really well with our words, images and artwork, and then making sure we understand what our customers' wants and needs are too, so that we can really talk directly to them. If you can do that and you can form an emotional connection with the buyer, then it will more than likely result in a sale, and that's exactly what we want. So in video 3, I hope you enjoyed video 2. We're going to talk about being everywhere. So in this one, we spoke about trying to attract everybody. And in the next video, video 3, I'm going to talk about being everywhere. So physically, so thinking about a website or Etsy or online galleries and trade shows and YouTube, and what result that has when you try to spread yourself too thin, and actually what to do instead. So video 1, mindset, fear, self-doubt, how that stops you, how you can move through it. Video 2, casting the net too wide and how to actually attract your ideal customer in a much more streamlined way that doesn't result in you getting exhausted. And then video 3, which is coming next, is about where to actually sell your art and why we don't want to spread ourselves too thinly across too many different platforms. So I hope you can join me for that, and that's all from me for today.